Democrats want Black Americans to believe that calling for voter ID is racist because they want the votes of illegal immigrants. They want the votes for illegal immigrants, and what this is going to get into is this, and this is what I will scream to black people until the end of time, is that Democrats are done with you. Democrats are done with you. They have moved on to Latinos, and they have moved on to illegals.
Welcome back to another episode of Bros Chats, a place where we can have honest political conversations now. Like, we have different types of conversations, man. No book of, but I go by the name of Eli. As always, we got Ace with us.
Yes, indeed. We just here trying to pay the bills. We here with Mr. Smith, and I ain't talking about Will. You heard?
Okay. Last but not least, we got Jew.
Bro, you out here? Come on. Not doing that.
It's because you out there last time, so you was
come on.
Why you think he was so quiet last time? He was thinking like, I can back.
But when you got stuff when you got like stuff like that, you gotta tell me because then I'm gonna go second, bro. You can't come on.
I'm gonna do.
I gotta do what Fat Joe did with Kiss. I'm gonna just say the same. Yeah, we got Mr. Smith here. And we ain't talking Will. He's from Philly.
Listen, man, our next guest is a war veteran, a political commentator. You might have seen him on Fox News, NBC, CNN. You've been on a lot of different
I've been everywhere. I did BBC, Sky News, Piers Morgan, Fox News, CNN. MSNBC, I guess now. They didn't change the MS now. Like, I've been everywhere. What's going on? Rob Smith, you see me everywhere. Run my mouth on TikTok or cable news, both nationally or internationally. You can find me everywhere at Rob Smith online. But today I'm here.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Listen, join the Patreon. If y'all watching this on Patreon, y'all got this episode way before the public got it. So we appreciate the support. If y'all watching this on any other platform, join the Patreon, link in the description. Y'all get early access to content like this. We got new access to different content that we doing. We working on a lot of different things. So make sure y'all hit that Patreon, link in the description. This first topic I do want to get to, it says, and this is a very divisive conversation. I had a lot of heated conversations with my friends about this one. And I want to start here with the fellas. When it comes to illegal immigration and ICE, do you think that is a shared fight or a separate one for the black community? Because I don't know if we ever had this conversation. I don't know if we ever talked about this personally, like the whole ICE situation, illegal immigrants and stuff.
I don't know if we directly affected by it. I don't know, but maybe that's why we ain't had this conversation. But I don't know. I think it's mostly affecting the Hispanic community, right?
No, it's a lot of people.
It's black people.
I mean, illegal immigrants come in all shapes and colors.
I mean, me personally, the videos I've seen has been the Hispanic community. But if it is affecting black people, then why would we not have that conversation in our community as well? And I mean, if it affect one of us, it affect us all. So, I mean.
Okay, Drew, what's your thoughts?
All right, so I'm
50-50.
I'm 50-50 with it, right? And I know this might sound like hatred or whatever the case may be, but again, we watch black men get shot by officers, knees on the head, stomped on, beat up, killed, and I hear no motherfucking voice, no opinions. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't give a fuck what color. You could be purple, motherfucker. You didn't not say anything. You get what I'm saying? So this whole unity, and I get it. What's wrong is wrong, and we need to stand up for people, and I love all people. But when my people are hurting, we only seem to unite between us, and we're just left there, right? And on the other end, it makes me think if we don't stand up and help the people that's in need and they clear them the fuck out, what's going to happen to us? So I do think, and maybe I'm not informed enough, right? But I do feel like when we go through our shit, I don't feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it's people in the shadows that want to help and support. But where's that support after, something crazy happens or whatever the case may be? And I also feel like we should support because, people need help. You know what I'm saying? In a sense. But which one is it? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm also a bit conflicted, I should say. I'm not against migration, right? But when we talk about illegal migration, right, and then especially when those illegal immigrants get funneled into our communities, a lot of the times, when we in New York, we've seen right over here, like we've seen them getting the hotels. That we was asking illegals one time, they was getting EBT cards, visas with $500. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like these are actual resources that our community can actually use. These are not tax-paying citizens. Like, you know what I mean? So again, I am very conflicted because now you're talking about illegal immigrants. So you know what I mean? They are actively taking away resources from our community, and we need those resources. So again, are we fighting a battle for illegals? Like, you know what I mean? That's like fighting a battle that somebody just did a criminal activity. Illegal immigration is a criminal activity. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Let me say this.
Yeah.
I'm not conflicted at all in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
The illegal immigrant fight against ICE, that is not a Black American fight. That is not my Black American business. That has zero to do with me as a Black American. And you said something else. You said, well, when they get rid of all these illegals, what are they going to do to us? They're not going to do anything to us because Black people were born in this country. We are citizens here. We helped to build this country. Their fight is not our fight. All right. And I do think that's a fair. That I think I hear that a lot as a fear mongering tactic. Like they get us, they ignite us. Like, you know what I mean? If they deport us, they're gonna deport y'all too. Like that's to get us riled up. I hear that a lot of the talking points. Like you was. No, it's to get Black Americans riled up. And again, if you notice how quickly all of this ICE protest, all of that media attention, it seemed to dissipate, right? You know why? Because people saw these videos and they looked at these videos, and you know who they saw? A bunch of deranged white liberals causing drama, all right? Black people did not get involved in this. And I did content and I said, Black people, this is not your fight. This has nothing to do with you. Stay out of it. Because the agitators and the people that were pushing this anti-ICE sentiment, the pushing all of this stuff, what they wanted was a dead Black body to martyr. So that they could get Black Americans all riled up and get ourselves involved in something that has nothing to do with us. Now, when you look at illegal immigration in this country, when they get in here, what neighborhoods do they go to? They go to Black neighborhoods. Yep. What resources are they taking? They are taking Black resources. Yep. And now, look, I split time. I know a lot about, New York. I split my time in Brooklyn, right, between Brooklyn and Miami. There was story after story after story. Remember when they were all getting kind of like shuttled in here under the Biden administration, all that? Yeah. Story after story after story of resources in predominantly Black communities here in Brooklyn being shut down so that they could become centers for illegal immigrants.
They're shutting down schools.
They're shutting down schools. They're shutting down gymnasiums. I heard of some sort of after-school program for Black kids playing basketball or something like that.
Five-star hotel.
Yeah, they had to shut down the gym to make it, for illegal immigrants, right? And so this Black-brown coalition that the left tries to pretend that happens, it's not real. It was always fake. It was always so that illegal immigrants and the Latino community in this country could come in and scoop up and try to integrate and try to take over what Black people had built. And I tell Black people this all the time. These paid Black media liberals who are there to advocate for DNC, they're there to advocate for Democrats, all that stuff. They want to get Black people involved in everything because they know that this stuff doesn't work without us.
Like I said, I'm trying to take the emotions out of it because a lot of the times in the conversations I have with people, especially Black people, whether they, specifically from the African or Caribbean community, they use a lot of emotions to get me activated in the conversation. So like, oh, well, people are, what about the children? They'll say that often, like, oh, what about the children? And I'm like, and it sounds like insensitive, but I'm like, well, if their parents took that risk, there's consequences for any risk you take. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if they came over illegally, they knew there was a chance that their child could be detained, like if anything, like, you know what I mean?
I know we're bringing up like the illegal part, right? But according to what you might see on social media, I don't know what's real or fake anymore, but there's people that's not illegals that's getting snatched up and grabbed and hurt and harmed. The Hispanic people or whatever. I don't know. I see
but so here's the thing.
Yeah.
You can't say, well, there's Americans and there's legal citizens. Like, you can't say it's happening if you can't point me to an exact circumstance of it happening.
So what about the situations where the ICE agents kill a protester?
Let's talk about it. Like, literally, let's talk about it. Okay. and I'm glad you guys brought this up. So we had 2 leftist agitators that were killed by ICE. One was Renee Good, the other one was Alex Peretti, right? Now, these were both media hoaxes that were literally dismantled within 48 hours. Renee Good, they tried to pretend as if these ICE agents just shot into this woman's car and she wasn't doing anything, right? Because we had one angle, and that went all over social media. Not 36 hours later, another angle came out to where you saw this woman using that SUV as a weapon to run over this ICE agent. He fired into the car, killed her. Now, I think it's a tragedy when anybody dies. Nobody wants to see Americans dying on the streets, all right? But we are not going to pretend that this was not a leftist agitator and this was not somebody that used their vehicle as a weapon to try to kill the ICE agent. That's number one. Number two, Alex Peretti. Now, we were told that, oh, this was just an ICU nurse that was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Again, 36 hours later, we see video of this guy being an agitator, screaming, kicking cars, doing all of that stuff. So these were not innocent people that just happened to be caught up in the crossfire of an ICE protest. These were literally leftist agitators that were organized, that were there to cause this kind of chaos.
Because I get where both sides is coming from, because it can look like propaganda on both sides. Like,
yeah, but I don't know that there's a both sides to this, right? Like, I don't know that you can both sides.
On the left side, you're saying that, you know, they didn't do anything, that the ICE agents were just reckless.
But but here's the thing: there's video, so you can't both sides it when there's video, right? So there's video out there. You can pull up your phone right now and look at this. So you can't both sides it when we have video evidence, right? Now, if the video evidence wasn't here in both of these specific cases, you can say that
in that video that you told, was she just trying to drive off, or was she trying to drive? Because
she literally,
you might look at it like she tried to run him over. Another person might look at you just trying to drive off.
When you see the other angle, she was literally trying to run him over. And you understand what these hoaxes,
she turned into
she turned into him. And what happens with these hoaxes, and again, like, I've just been doing this for so long, I don't even comment on these things until at least 36 hours.
Got you.
And so with these hoaxes, what they do is, oh, this innocent woman was killed by an ICE agent, blah, blah, blah. And so everybody's supposed to get riled up. And even 7 years ago, they could have gotten a week out of the news cycle about that, right? Because it's supposed to make you feel that these ICE agents are just running around here killing American citizens, right? But now the news cycle moves so fast and X moves so fast that these hoaxes are disproven within like 36 hours,
community
right?
votes and stuff.
Yeah, and so you notice that after those 2 people were regrettably killed, the border czar, Tom Homan, he flew into Minnesota, had to speak with Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry, and for now, the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, and he had to say, look, you have to direct your local law enforcement to help us, because we have a lot of these Democrat states right now that are directing their local law enforcement to battle with these ICE agents. Like, they're not working together, and that's where all that BS comes.
Can I ask you one thing?
Yeah.
We're all black men here, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever been pulled over by a police officer?
Yeah.
How was that encounter?
It's happened to me twice. It was fine. There was nothing untoward about it. I just said, you know, hey, what's up, officer? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Show him the license plate. I was speeding.
Yeah.
You know, both times. And then it just kind of like went off without a hitch. Now, what I will say to your point, I have a veteran on my driver's license.
Okay.
Always have. So sometimes, like, if I get pulled over by the cops or whatever, they see veteran status on the license plate, and it's just, you know, there's a certain level of respect that I'm afforded by law enforcement because they see that.
Okay, so what I'm gonna tell you is, me as a black man, raised in Brooklyn, Brownsville neighborhood, my pullovers wasn't the same.
Okay.
It was very aggressive, very raw, very stank, trying to agitate me, trying to get a reaction out of me so they have the right to handcuff me or do whatever the hell they want to do.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not saying this is, because like you said, you brought up the scenario, like, I don't have the video. I wasn't there when ICE, but the approach from most law enforcement isn't easygoing, isn't pleasant for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I experienced it in my life multiple times.
But were you in a situation, because if we're comparing, your experience as a black man being pulled over by police and them acting aggressive towards you,
Yeah.
it's not the same experience as these two white liberal leftist
No,
agitators that were agitating ICE.
What I'm
right?
saying is the approach that ICE may have on finding a person that may look Hispanic.
Mm-hmm.
When at one time there were black men that were targets for police officers when they pull them over, right? And what I'm saying is now these ICE agents, we're not in these rooms with them, and I don't know these people, but I'm pretty sure that they're not the most, forthcoming with how they're approaching these people that's in the streets. We don't have it.
What is the curriculum? Like, what is the criteria? Are they, because it comes off as racial profiling.
Yeah.
And now I can see how maybe a black American, because they can't differentiate. They can't differentiate Caribbean, black Caribbean from a black, from African, from X, Y, and Z. So are they racially profiling? What do you have to show an ICE agent if he pulls you?
This is what I say. I can't speak to ICE protocol because I don't work for the Department of Homeland Security. What I will say from what I've seen and what I've heard and what I've ascertained is that when they're going to make arrests, number one, when we talk about these deportations, you ask me, they're not deporting enough people, and they're not deporting aggressively enough.
What does aggressive look like to you? Then,
when I'm talking about aggressive, I'm not talking about violence. I'm talking about numbers.
Oh, okay.
Then
I thought you were talking about Jazzy Jeff.
Nah, man. Because the math ain't mathing when it comes to these deportations. Because we're not even hitting Obama era level deportations.
Yeah.
All right.
And we're going to get to that.
Because when you talk to somebody like me, I'm about as far right as anybody that I know on mass deportations of illegal immigrants, right? And they're talking about going to criminals first. No, like I want them all gone. Am I ever going to get what I want? Probably not. But we're not deporting enough right now. But when I talk about aggressive, I mean numbers. I'm not talking about physicality.
Gotcha.
What I will speak to, from what I know, and again, I don't know DHS protocol. I'm not an ICE member. I'm not an ICE agent or anything like that. But I know that they know who they're going to go apprehend when they're going to go get them, right?
Okay.
Like they're not just going and rounding up brown people. All right. They know who they're targeting, who they're going to get. And then to this point, the people that they're trying to go get at this point, and even this is part of the administration I don't agree with because I think that they should be going harder. They're literally only going after criminals right now. And I don't mean criminal in which they're an illegal immigrant, because everybody that is in this country illegally is a criminal in my eyes.
Yep.
They're going for hardcore criminals, violent criminals.
Yeah.
All right. And so those are people that they've been tipped off, and those are the people that they're going out against. All this drama and all this BS and all this protest and agitation or whatever, we're seeing a lot of people that, again, to my point, white liberals who are spearheading all of this stuff, and they are taking it upon themselves to make problems for the ICE agents that are doing their job. And then also, I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was some white liberal that called a black ICE agent a house nigger. Yeah, you get into it, you know? And I feel like as soon as that clip went out there, people were like, oh, so this is who these protesters really are. Nope, none of my black business. Moving on.
The next topic that I do want to get into, even the Alex dude real quick. The Alex
Ready.
I seen a video where they said that they photoshopped his image to make him look more handsome or more attractive.
Oh yeah, because he was just like this grizzled leftist. Like he just looked like he smoked meth. It was crazy. They literally, no, seriously. And when they were using his photo and all this propaganda, they photoshopped his photo. They filled in the beard. They gave him a little bit more color, like, you know, made him look less methy. But this is like, this is the propaganda, bro. Like this is what they do. I've seen it for so long, over so many years, that I don't even get shocked by the propaganda at this point.
The next topic I want to get into is in the headline right now is a lot of voter ID talk, right? And I've seen a lot of headlines, especially in our community, saying that requiring voter ID is racist, like, you know, requiring it. Do you think it's racist, or is it protecting black people? What do you think? What's your thoughts on voter ID in elections, federal elections?
Well, the leftist talking point, the Democrat talking point that voter IDs are racist is just another way for them to use black people as cover for whom they really want are illegal immigrants, okay? So what you have to understand that entire conversation is designed to trigger black people's emotions so that we can get all emotional and advocate against something that is really beneficial. And I'll give you a couple points. Number one, I have to show an ID when I'm going to my AMC A-list movie and they want to scan the thing, and I got to show my ID. I got to show my ID to buy alcohol. If I smoke that, I have to show my ID to buy cigarettes. An ID is a fact of life for the vast majority of Americans. So you can't tell me that's racist. And another thing, a couple of years ago in Georgia enacted some of the most stringent voter ID laws in this country. Georgia did. You know, they call them racist. They call them all these things. Georgia's governor said, like, you know, I'm going to do whatever. You know what happened? Record black voters, record black voting in Georgia after they enacted some of the most stringent voter ID laws in the country. So like the math not mathing, right? It doesn't make sense. It only makes sense, the argument, when you realize is this. Democrats want black Americans to believe that calling for voter ID is racist because they want the votes of illegal immigrants. They want the votes for illegal immigrants. And what this is going to get into is this, and this is what I will scream to black people until the end of time, is that Democrats are done with you. Democrats are done with you. They have moved on to Latinos and they have moved on to illegals. And so that's what this voter ID thing is all about. It's not racist. Any black person on the street, and again, not paid black DNC, CNN liberals. I'm talking about any black person on the street. You're going to ask them if they have an ID. They're going to be like, yeah, I have an ID. Like, who doesn't have an ID? Right? You know who doesn't have an ID? Illegal immigrants.
So, but are they requiring ID or proof of citizenship?
Well, here's the thing. They're trying to make it more stringent. Number one, there's nobody that is not a citizen of this country that should be voting in any of our elections. True. Both local or national. Can we agree on that?
I agree with that.
So we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Then what would the issue be with requiring proof of citizenship in order to get an ID, in order to vote? Right?
I agree.
And so I'm not gonna get down into any stolen election rabbit holes or anything like that. But what I will say is this. Democrats in both New York and California, these are socialist states, have enacted laws that basically said illegal immigrants can vote here because they're giving illegal immigrants driver's licenses in a lot of states all across the country. Now look at Minnesota. You know, we just saw all of this fraud that was happening outside of Minnesota, right? Like this has just been exposed, $8 billion in fraud.
Well, that's what the Somalians.
That's what the Somalis, right? Just maybe a year and a half before, or a couple of years before all this fraud was uncovered, Tim Walz signed a law that said we're going to give driver's licenses to illegals. Now, do you think that illegals are not using those driver's licenses that they were issued to vote? Of course they are. So what we're saying with voter ID is that only American citizens should be voting in our elections, and we need to tighten up that process. I don't think that people understand how many illegal immigrants are in this country right now. Upwards of 30 million. 30 million.
Crazy.
They've been telling y'all.
The black population is only like 30 to 40 million. Like,
well, here's the thing. Blacks are only going to be something like 14% of the population, I think, in a decade, something like that. Latinos,
I think we are like
We're around there somewhere.
right now.
and they said we'll get there, right? But you have to understand what we're dealing with right now in terms of the Latino community is we are dealing with the children of all of the illegals that have been flooding into this country over the past 30 years. Because remember, birthright citizenship, which the Trump administration is trying to get the Supreme Court to overturn.
Which was something that was for lineages of slaves, black Americans, initially
something that was created for us, right?
Right.
Again, when I make this point of Latinos overtaking everything that we've created. But the point that I'm making here is that Latinos in sometime around the next decade will be 35% of the population of America. And we are talking legal. We are talking the children of all of the illegals that have flooded into this country that are now legal citizens that are able to vote. Do you think the Democrats care about blacks? That our population is not going up because they've convinced black people to kill their babies for the past 30 years.
Facts.
So let me ask you a question. If the immigration is benefiting the Democrat Party,
Yes.
we just had the conversation about the Republican numbers for deportation was not as great as Obama's numbers.
Yes.
So why is that?
Okay, I'll tell you why. When people talk about the deportation numbers under the Obama administration, right? Think about the network of judges all across the country that exist to subvert Republican agendas no matter what. No matter what Republican is in office, they exist to subvert Republican agendas, right? You're talking about every time you see on the news, Trump wants to do something and some district court judge rules against it, and then they have to take it to the Supreme Court. We've seen this happen over and over again.
Yeah.
Over the past 18 months, right, of this administration, 16, 15, 13, it seems like a long time, but it's only been the past year. So now, the reason the Obama numbers were bigger is because under a Democrat administration, he's not going through all this drama with everybody trying to subvert him at every moment.
Yep.
And he's also not dealing with media propaganda that's going
They're not saying
against
shit
him.
about it. Yep.
Right? They're not going to say anything. That's why Obama was able to get more of these people out of here. And so you have to look at it like
And he had the same borders czar as Trump, right?
He gave Obama awarded Tom Homan some award. I don't know if this was the Presidential Medal of Freedom, but he awarded our same border czar right now was awarded under the Biden administration, or excuse me, under the Obama administration. So he is not being allowed to do his job because he's being subverted by Democrats from top to bottom. And that's what we're dealing with here.
That makes me want to jump into this next topic.
Yeah.
Like Ace said, a lot of times when I have these conversations about Trump, we get it. People don't like Trump. Like,
Yeah.
Most people don't like Trump, I would say, or at least on the left side, right?
Yeah.
So when we have this,
Dislike, hatred.
so when we have these
white hot
conversations, I hear a lot of it comes from they just don't like Trump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when you point out things like, well, Obama did the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where was the outrage then? And then it's like, oh, well, but Trump's an asshole. Like, you know, so do people just not like, are people turning a blind eye to other administrations because they simply don't like Trump? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
I always look at things from a media and propaganda perspective, right? So look at under the Obama administration. I don't know about anybody else's personal finances, but mine were horrible under the Obama administration. I was making no money. I was stressed out. Like I was just out of college making like no money in New York or whatever. But if you look at the news and the media, this was the new Black Camelot. Look at our Black president. Look at Michelle Obama. Look at this beautiful Black family
That's
in
what
the
it's
White
about.
House. So think about that propaganda. Think about what Black art looked like in that era. We saw Black people winning, successful entrepreneurs. But remember, Think Like a Man came out. Everybody's just rich and Black and beautiful. And it's like, oh man, like
But
we're
Black
winning.
excellence was at all-time highs.
That was Black excellence, right? But the reality of the situation was like niggas was struggling. Like, for real, right? And so
We was broke, but at least we got a Black president. Like at least we got a Black president.
well, there you go, right? And so to answer the question, people are propagandized very heavily under Democrat administrations to not really look behind the scenes at what's going on. When there's a Democrat in power, then, and how our art looks good and everybody's rich and powerful and all this other stuff. So people just don't notice because a lot of people just tune out when their guy is in charge.
Do you think, too, because of social media, because social media wasn't as prevalent when Obama was in, now we have social media, we can constantly see the news feed and how the narratives are being pushed from both the left
was
and
out
the
there,
right,
though.
you know what I mean? Huh?
It was out there though.
Yeah, but I don't think it was to this extent. Like now,
It wasn't
like,
as ubiquitous as it is now.
Yeah, like
Okay.
obviously social media was a thing, but now
He
is
was blowing shit up and then going to places, visiting Jamaica and
yeah,
shit.
but
like,
every
right
news
after.
outlet didn't adapt to. They were still thinking that people was watching TV. Like now, every news
Okay.
outlet is on social media. Like,
Yeah.
they probably
I got
more on
you.
social media than they are on actual
I get what you're saying
television.
now, yeah.
So now everybody can see all these headlines and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
do you think social media plays a part in rallying people, getting people's emotions?
It plays a part in it now because so to your point about social media kind of like not being as prevalent under Obama, it was very new, but they got into it immediately, right? And so they knew if you want to talk about Obama, I can say we can do a whole podcast about that.
Yeah.
But they knew how to use social media to say any criticism of Obama is racist, right? And so they did all that. And so where we are right now, this is the most ubiquitous era of social media that we've seen in American history. And I think that we are kind of dealing with the results of this. And one of the results of it is, unfortunately, people just being so politically aware. And you have algorithms feeding them things that may or may not be true sometimes. And you also have algorithms feeding people things that are based on what they believe. So if I pop open my X feed, it's going to feed me a bunch of right-wing shit, right? Because that's who I am.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're a left-wing liberal, it's going to feed you a bunch of that stuff. And so it's becoming increasingly on us as the consumers to differentiate what's real and what's fake. And I feel like for a lot of people, it's very hard nowadays to figure out what's real or fake. I've been duped by AI once or twice, you know, on X. Like, you just see something and I'm in the car and I just want to post something and I see something and it's like, oh, bro, this is AI. Well, delete.
There's a huge difference, right, between like Obama was appealing to, I guess, social media or people. You know what I mean? He was friendly, gesture. You see Trump, he's saying something crazy, or his approach. I mean, even the time that he was in Puerto Rico, you know what I'm saying? He didn't want to touch people. He was throwing people. So I was like, don't touch me. So I mean, like, those shots show you two different people. But even when we think about like the Latino community, they actually they voted for Trump once he said he was going to get rid of the immigrants at the same time. So I don't know how the Democrats is trying to look for support from them. And they're like, well, he getting rid of immigrants. I'm with him. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't understand that either.
Well, let me tell you. So Democrats are going for, the reason that Latinos went for Trump is because, like, you know, and I guess I basically live in Cuba right now. By Cuba, I mean Miami Beach. But I think that what you have to understand about the culture is that it's very conservative culturally, right? And also they hate Latino culture, and they hate illegal immigrants. Hate them. They want them out of the country. All right,
because they feel like they had to come here the correct way, and then, you know,
because they had to come here the right way, but then also
they fucking up their money.
I mean, it's not really that. No, trust me, it's not that, because Cubans are very wealthy.
Now I would feel some type of way too if I bust my ass for 10, 20 years to get this citizenship, and then you just came over and got the shortcut, and you already, like, I would feel some type of way too. Like,
but I think, though, you know what I've learned living in Miami is, like, I'm gonna have to watch my tongue here. Our Latinos in Brooklyn, in New York, these are not Latinos in other places. Like, I will be politically correct and say that they're very heavily influenced by hip hop culture. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so that's just a very different type of Latino than you're gonna find in Miami Beach or in Florida or like anywhere in general, right? So I think when I say the Democrats are going for Latinos, they're trying to radicalize the young Latinos. They're trying to pull the Latinos into their liberal bullshit, just like they've done with blacks for the past 30 to 40 years. Now, it's harder. It's easier to propagandize blacks into the liberal bullshit because our families have been destroyed, because there's a lack of family structure there, right? Latinos don't have that. Very strong on family. Lots of kids. Very religious. You can't break that with some lib propaganda. It's very hard.
All they gotta say is, hey, if you don't want to look like the blacks, you better listen to me.
But that's the thing. And so we just had the Super Bowl, right? And everybody's talking about Bad Bunny and all that stuff. Look at the Bad Bunny push. Just zoom out a little bit. Look at the push. This dude then got the Super Bowl, Grammys, the most famous person in the world being pushed. He's gotten the push that I have not seen. The songs are not even in English. That's not for black people.
Right.
That's not for white people. That is for Latinos. And I guarantee you, I can 100% guarantee that he will be used to push Democrats in the 2028 election. I am 100% sure of it.
He's an American citizen.
Yeah, he's a Puerto Rican.
Well, I want to get to this last question about Obama. So, you know, he gets a lot of criticism saying that he didn't do anything for black people while he was president.
Yeah.
But some people say that he didn't have the means to do it because of the
Senate
and the local.
But they had full control in 2028 to 2010. Full control. White House, House and Senate. You could have done everything you wanted to do.
Checkmate.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, it's not like that, but that's for real, right? That's real. And you can make, if you want to talk about the political system,
Yeah.
you can make the argument right now. And again, right now, Republicans are having the same issue with the Trump. We're like, yo, you got the White House, you got the House, and you got the Senate.
Yeah.
You should be doing a lot of stuff right now that you're not doing. So what's good? You know, and I've leveled that critique against this administration myself, right? So you're talking about Obama didn't do anything for black people.
Yeah.
He had all of the means to do so, and he just decided not to.
Or did he prioritize other groups? You know what I mean?
He did.
Like, you know,
Black people are never the priority. Never the priority. And so when you say, did Obama do stuff for black people? He made a lot of black political commentators famous. He provided access to capital and wealth and building and all that stuff for a lot of black people that were close to the Democrat administration. But was anything happening for the black working class? No.
No.
And I would like to make a point that when you're having conversations about who's doing what for black people, number one,
None.
black people need to start demanding more.
For sure.
We don't demand anything.
Right.
And I'm getting to the point where I don't give a fuck if somebody votes for Democrats or Republicans, but what are you demanding? And don't give me no reparations bullshit, because I can debunk that in about 38 seconds. And I'll tell you that that money is never going to make it to black people.
Why is that?
Well, number one, all right, let's break it down.
Before you get there, do you think that black people deserve it? Before I hear your answer.
This episode is brought to you by Fandango. People say fans are too distracted these days, but the truth is, when a great movie hits the screen, you show up, you stay glued, invested, part of the story. And without fans like you, there'd be no cinema magic, no shared moments. So head to Fandango.com to get tickets, stream, or rent or buy top movies and series. Fandango loves fans.
Your little one grew 3 inches overnight. Adorable. Also, expensive. Sell their pint-sized pieces on Depop and list them in minutes with no selling fees. Because somewhere, a dad refuses to pay full price for the clothes his kids will outgrow tomorrow. And he's ready to buy your son's entire wardrobe right now. Consider your future growth spurt budget secured. Start selling on Depop, where taste recognizes taste. Payment processing fees and boosting fees still apply. See website for details.
Ding it.
Because I want to know.
You know how to answer
I
that
want to know if
question?
I want to be mad at you before you think how to say. You know what I mean? I want to know if I'm like, nah.
You can be mad. A lot of people mad at me. Like, I make people mad for a living.
No.
What I will say is this. To answer that question, I feel like reparations have been given to Black Americans in the form of tens of billions of dollars in welfare benefits, in EBT, and
Who don't get that?
affirmative
Yeah,
action.
Not even
that's
the
not
most.
exclusive to black.
Yeah.
It's not exclusive to blacks, but we get it at a higher level than any other.
No, not more than white women.
What's that?
White women get welfare benefits at a way higher rate than anybody in the black
white
community.
women get more EBT than black people.
Yes.
Show
Yeah,
me
it's
the
like,
receipts.
And the Jewish community get the
I need a receipt book.
Listen,
but what I
we-
will
we
say,
can pull that up.
not to even get into the weeds on that. Do I believe that black people deserve reparations?
taking too long.
I can just never. Well, then we'll just say no. How about that? We'll just say no. How about that? Because I think that in certain ways, whatever we're owed by this country, we've already gotten.
No, we
No.
fought
Hell
for every.
We can
We
dis-
fought
we
for
can
everything
disagree.
that we gotten in this country. Like, and then when
I'm not saying that we didn't fight for
when
it.
we say my thing
You
is
just mentioned how we got burnt down every time we built some shit. And
I did.
So I mean, so what the fuck?
yeah.
We built
So
it
let me
without the help.
Let me ask you this question. Obviously, you think that black people deserve reparations.
I do.
What would you like those reparations to look like?
We shouldn't have to pay taxes. We should get some money. We should get some land. There's a whole bunch of things. I'm not exactly like I don't have the mindset for it, right? But I do think that we're owed fountains of things that we deserve. You know what I'm saying?
Would you think that
And it goes beyond wealth. Like it's not
Yeah.
just money to me.
Wait,
So
I think Ace got a quick fact check.
Okay.
Real quick.
fact check?
It says, based on the data from the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Census Bureau, non-Hispanic white people represent the largest single racial group receiving Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP,
Snap, of course.
benefits, often referred to as food.
Yeah, there's always been more white people than black people on welfare because there are more of them than us. But our percentage per capita, again, the percentage of black people on welfare in terms of our actual numbers of the population are always much higher than black Americans and Hispanics.
You saying a percentage of people is higher?
No. So, okay. So this is what I'm trying to break down.
Uh-huh.
So if we're 13% of the country, and let's just say when I talk per capita, if we're 13% of the country and you will say 60% of black households, and again, I'm pulling that out of my
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay, then 60% of black households, and then per capita, that's higher. So if there are more white people in the country, but there are less of them, fewer of them that are using these benefits.
I get what you're saying
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
aspect, but in the grand scheme of things, there's still more of them that's receiving
because there are more of them.
That means they're utilizing more. They're spending more of the taxpayer dollars as a collective than black people would be because there's more of them.
It's because literally there's more of them. But it's just I always make the per capita thing.
Yeah.
So I will say this to you.
Yeah.
And this is a criticism that I've levied against the current administration that we have right now. And those conversations will become definitely more prevalent as we move into the next election. Would you consider a small business loan that is specifically set aside for black Americans in this country? Would you consider that a form of reparations?
No,
we need cash.
Because
We
you
need cash.
gotta pay that back.
compensation.
If it was a grant, maybe.
I don't want to deal with all these stipulations, these loans, and the interest.
So
because
what
loans come with
you're
interest.
saying-
I'm saying cash compensation.
So
that's
what you're
it. Like,
saying is
Other
me
people,
a check.
other people have received reparations. Other
They
groups of
have.
people.
They have.
And it wasn't loans that they had to pay back.
They have. And
It was
other-
land.
and other
it was
people,
money.
and other people receive lots of stuff.
Right.
And so I
So
guess
why is it different when it comes to black
I
people?
guess the point that I make is that I just know how screwed up the federal government is.
They don't just give a fuck. Is what you're saying. Yeah.
They're not, and they're never going to.
Yeah, I get that part.
And so if we're on the reparation standpoint, and I said, I'm a hard no on that.
Right.
But I
Wait,
will
did you give a reason for why you the hard no?
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
I'm going to break it down. So, and we've seen this happen. I think San Francisco just kind of like passed reparations, right? So this is what happens. This is the grift. And they're going to run this on blacks in 28. This is the last time the Democrat Party, I think, is ever going to really make any explicit overtures towards blacks. Is going to be in 2028. And it will be reparations, promise you. What's going to happen is like this. Gavin Newsom or whoever it is going to be like, I'm going to give black people reparations. We're going to do this. We're going to do reparations, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to set up $3 billion, and we're going to set that aside to have a commission to study reparations.
Yeah, I don't want.
No, but
I get
telling
it.
you.
Like-
So stay with me. Stay with me.
A commission to study.
Stay with me.
Okay.
They've already done this. It's been passed in the House.
right,
Right? So stay with me. So we're going to have a commission to study reparations. Who's going to be on that commission? Well, maybe it should be some of our great black senators and maybe some of our esteemed civil rights leaders like Al Sharpton. They should be on that commission. And so then you know what happens? Oh, then all of a sudden, the people at the top, they got this $3 billion piggy bank. Oh, we're going to get reparations, right? How much of that money is going to Al Sharpton's National Action Network? How much of that money is going to the nonprofits and the NGOs and all of that stuff that are directly connected to all of these people?
Yeah.
And that, let's say they even pass $3 billion. That $3 billion is going to be flipped and chopped and screwed so many ways
Getting a stimmy at the end
through
of it.
all these other people. You're going to be lucky if your black ass sees $250.
She gonna look like how they do the class action lawsuits, and then you look, you get like $2.
Bro,
Get the fuck
y'all going to be lucky if you can take the fam on a Carnival cruise
That's
by the time that money gets to you.
They might buy some J's with it.
I don't understand why a study needs to be done. If reparations is not a new concept.
Well, because you don't understand the federal government,
Like-
which exists to launder money. It exists to wash money.
You know what I
from
thought was a huge
politicians.
slap in the face during the last administration, the Biden administration,
Yeah.
was when, not just for black Americans, just for citizens, when we seen him sending all of these trillions of dollars to overseas to fund wars and to do all of this studies, and it was like, you're sending not millions, you're sending trillions of dollars. And then you're saying that we got a homeless problem in America with our own citizens. Like they're not getting housing, and then when you come in, and then when illegals come in and they're getting shelter over the homeless that we have in this country, the veterans that we have in this country, but you don't now all of a sudden y'all don't got money for reparations, but you just said $50 trillion over there to Ukraine.
But you know what though? What I will tell you is this. I want that conversation to happen among people who want reparations. I want to see it because I'm not going to be the black dude that's running around battling the black liberal that wants reparations on cable news. I'm not doing that no more.
So your no comes from you don't think that we'll get it.
My no comes from the fact that I personally think that the billions of dollars that have been pumped into trying to save Black America by the federal government over the past 40 years is reparations enough. And
trying to save Black, they're the ones that destroyed the Black community and the nuclear family. I don't understand this pumping to save the Black community. I don't get that stance from you. Like,
what I'm trying to say is, I believe that so let's see and take save out of it. My thing on reparations is this: I truly believe that the tens of billions, if not hundreds of billions of dollars that have been pumped into the Black American community over the past 40 years is more than enough
Through welfare.
through all of it. And I would say this: if you have seen it, it is quite obvious that we weren't even able to manage that.
I disagree with that, man. Because like they
It's
said,
okay.
it's not exclusive to Black people. All reparations in the past have been exclusive to that group of people. It's not like they gave land to Indians and then they gave land to everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
How do you think that that's going to be distributed? Say they did. Say they were like, okay, we're going to give reparations to Black America. Okay, so do you think that, should these Caribbeans that are running around here, should they get it?
No.
Okay, so then you're making a Black American exclusive argument.
Yeah.
And that's great. And what I want, I'm a hard no on it. All right, like you're never gonna change my mind on this. But what I will say is this: I find it very interesting to watch the conversations that are happening on the other side of the aisle, because there are some people that are even like super pro reparations that are super much far to the left of me, and they are starting to understand, and they are starting to ask, and they are starting to demand, and they are also starting to say that what is for Black Americans should be for us, and not for illegals, and not for Africans, and not for all of these people. So I've been very interested in watching those conversations, and I think those conversations have to happen because they need to push for that from Democrats, because they ain't never going to get it from Republicans, and you're never going to convince me.
You ain't gonna get it from anybody, but we still should say it. All these other people, were they getting hung? Were they building shit? Were they, getting their families snatched away from them in the middle?
Jews
No, they
got
weren't
reparations by America, and they were not even a part of the Holocaust, and they still got reparations. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, how did they get reparations? Like the Japanese American, the Japanese got reparations. Like, you know what I mean? So other people have gotten it. So when it comes to us now, we got all these stipulations.
Well, when it comes, even if you bring up Jewish people, and that's fine, they have an enormous amount of political power in this country because they have an enormous amount of political capital. And they are able to use that political power and use that political capital to advocate for themselves and their own interests, which is what I want Black Americans to start doing.
I agree with that part.
Listen, this next topic, cause I think it actually correlates to each other. You're familiar with FBA, Foundational Black Americans?
Absolutely.
Do you think that movement is more about clarity, about lineage, or is it a divisive talking point that's used across the diaspora? What's your thoughts on it?
I think it's about clarity, and I think it's to a certain extent the FBA movement. And, I've tweeted things into the effect of, I consider myself a foundational Black American. On the right, when the white men talk about that stuff, they call it heritage Americans, but we're all saying the same thing, right? Because what I believe, honestly, is that white Americans and Black Americans built this country, all right? We have a lot more in common, but I think that there are a lot of forces that like to divide us for their own ends, right? But what I will say is this about that FBA argument. It is coming from a lot of, again, Black people that are much far to the left of me that are starting to get the sense that there's something that is being watered down when it comes to how we are spoken of politically in this country as Black Americans. There's a sense that now we're seeing all of these people talk about a diaspora, and talk about all these Nigerians coming in, or all these Caribbeans coming in, or all these Africans coming in, and talk about, no, we need to talk about the global diaspora and all that stuff. And again, to that point, and where I line on them in some ways, and in a lot of ways I don't, you have a lot of Nigerians coming in, and you have a lot of Black immigrants that come into this country, and they are coming in at a financial level that is far beyond what the average Black American is coming in with. They're coming in. What's up?
I said they usually ignore that part.
They ignore that part. Yeah. So they're coming in with money, because it takes money to be a legal immigrant in this country to come to America. So they're coming in with more resources, first of all. They're coming in from 2-parent households, from all this money, and they love to talk about how great African is, and their lineage, and this Nigerian tribe, blah, blah, blah. But what they do is they come into our spaces and take over our shit. And that's what a lot of people are starting to the light bulb is coming up in a lot of people's heads. Yeah. That maybe we're not like these people that are using, again, things that Black Americans have built and trying to take them over and remake them in their own image. Case in point, they've destroyed the Essence Music Festival. The Essence Music Festival was a celebration of Black American culture. It was a celebration of Black American music. It was a celebration of Black American food. And now they brought in that weird African lesbian to run Essence Fest that turned it into some kind of diaspora festival, some kind like that is just not recognizable to any of. I don't know what Jollof is. I don't care what Jollof is. I want ribs. I want chitlins. You know what I mean? Like, that's my culture. That's Black American culture, right? And so now you get to a point, and I just use Essence Fest as an example. Apparently, there may not even be one this year, because apparently they owe vendors like $2 million or something. Like, somebody just sent me that tweet. So the FBA movement, like, again, that's a movement that's very far to the left of me in a lot of different ways. But it's important that Black Americans start understanding how to speak for ourselves and how to advocate for ourselves, and not bringing everybody else in. These paid Black media liberals they want to talk about Africans, and they want to make illegals our fight. Then they want to bring the LGBT in, and they just want to create like this blob that serves Democrats, but does not serve Black Americans.
For sure.
A narrative that we also see, because I even see one of your videos where you use narratives like, Black migrants outwork Black Americans. So when we have on one end saying, oh, well, they already come over here with, resources. And then on another end, we're saying we're kind of almost feeding into this stereotype. We had Africans, Caribbeans, echo those same Black Americans are lazy sentiment. And then when we have somebody like you who is Black American who's saying, yeah, they just outworking y'all, when that's not fully the case. And we can't look at, I think personally, we can't look at a small pool and be like, damn, they working hard over there. But, so they represent the overall collective of that group and be like, all of them are working hard, and Black Americans are just so lazy and they don't never do anything. So what are your thoughts when you hear that type of rhetoric, or even when you say stuff like that? And then also will say, well, they come over here with an advantage that most Black Americans don't have.
I would say that two things can be true at once. Is that they do come over here advantaged, and they do outwork us sometimes. And I think that they do sometimes. And I think that they come here and outwork us, number one, because there is this mental thing that Black Americans seem to have when it comes to white people that these Africans don't have. And I think that they're freed from that because they were not raised in America. So they come here and they're just like, okay, what can I get? How can I get it? All right. And I think that another thing that they do is they know how to come here and speak the language and ape the culture and still think that y'all are lazy in the back of their minds. They know how to. I always think to like what I always think to. I always think to the chick on Potomac Housewives, Wendy Asefo. Now, I'm Nigerian and it's great and it's so great to be Nigerian. Blah blah blah. All right, great. But you've come into a show that's about Black Americans. And you spout talking points. You're out here on cable news and you're doing all this stuff and you're getting all of these things and you're always speaking to the Black experience, but you're not Black American, like you're Nigerian, right? And so what I will say is that they know how to come over here and hustle. And they know how to come over here and build business. And they also know how to come over here and eat off of what we have built.
I understand that too, right? But I also like point out that sometimes people, say that we're lazy because we wouldn't take a position that I always bring this up. Like, and I brought this up on the show before. Let's say it's there's a nurse job, and it's supposed to pay a salary of $50, but said Caribbean person will take it for 21. And the fact that we know our worth, and they like, hey, I got to get this money. That doesn't mean you work harder. That means you didn't know the value.
Yeah, you settled.
Yeah.
Settled.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is getting misconstrued.
And that's undermining our movement. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But
We've been in this country. We have a lineage in this country. We have worked our asses off in this country. So to say that we are lazy when we have been the epitome of black excellence across the diaspora, whether you talk about education, attainment, whether you talk about financial, you look at most of the billionaires in the world, black billionaires, most of them are black Americans. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we have been the standard for excellence for the longest. And now, and I'm not saying there's lazy motherfuckers everywhere you go. I go to Caribbean right now, I go to Africa right now, I go to India right now, I go to Asia. There's lazy motherfuckers everywhere.
Have you
know
been
what
on
I'm saying?
Canal Street?
Yeah, them
See
selling fake bags don't mean they working harder. They selling fake bags. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Can I make a point to something you said?
Sure.
Yeah.
Because I think the point that you made about, well, we're going to pay this Caribbean $21 when an American will want $50 an hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
That really does speak to just even the bigger issue about globalization in this country and
Break that
how
down for me.
and how the wages of native-born Americans, black and white, by the way, are undercut by immigration, both legal and illegal, right? So you're making a point that's a broader point, and I got to tell you, that's a point about the H-1B visa conversation, where heritage Americans, both black and white, are saying, why are we importing all of these people into the country? We're importing these people, and I'm talking legal immigration, by the way, because H-1Bs are legal, and that entire system is a scam. And people are starting to ask, why are you importing people into the country just so that you can pay them less than an American, right? And so people are pushing back on that as well. So the point that you're making is a valid one.
Yeah.
And it speaks to the larger issue of globalization and a larger issue of just this unchecked immigration, both legal and illegal.
But why are we the poster boys of, you know what I mean? Being lazy for standing up.
We over here saying
highly educated,
we understand
hardworking, dedicated.
Uber is a $1 billion industry.
Yeah.
They are paying y'all pennies. We know y'all, man, I'm out here doing Uber for X, Y, and Z, 100 hours. No, they underpaying y'all, and we understand that.
Yeah.
Y'all don't. So now y'all undermining what we're saying.
We got to get to it.
Oh, we can hire, fuck them. The Americans, they complain too much. Like, we need more docile black people. They ain't gonna complain. They don't got a lineage with white people, so they don't mind working for less. Like, you know?
But this is the thing. I think that systematically, and you can look at it in every aspect in this country, I think that the powers that be would like to import other black people that are not Americans because, to your point, to docility, like them being docile or whatever. And I will tell you that they prefer people that are not black people that are not Americans. They prefer that.
There ain't no
and
thing
I
to say
always
there.
and I always make to the point of Hollywood right now, because, like, okay, we can all talk about entertainment or whatever. I tweet so much about why is every black actor that is getting A-list parts.
Facts.
I'm not talking about
Facts.
Tubi and BET Plus. Why is every A-list black actor that is getting parts another African, British, Nigerian?
Yep.
Why are we putting the woman that's nominated for supporting actress in Sinners right now? She's from Africa. All right. Why are there apparently so few talented African black Americans that we have to literally import people to play a black woman in the South in the 1930s?
Yo.
Like, is that not crazy to anybody else?
And it goes to the undermining issue. I speak about college. You know, a lot of college, especially these PWIs, they will, because they have to reach these DEI incentives, so they would get more African and Caribbean people to fill those. They still count as black, like, you know.
Yeah.
So now that's undermining the black Americans, like, because now we can't fill ththose DEI quotas because they want to fill those with the Caribbeans and and the Africans. Like,
And black Americans need to start having that conversation. And I got to tell you. And look, when you say DEI and all that stuff, like, I have complicated
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
All diversity is not, like, I've got the DEI conversation is very complicated because I don't like how Republicans and conservatives speak of it sometimes. But I won't get into that. What I will say is this: is that yes, they would prefer that the black people that they have around are just not Americans. I promise you that they prefer it. I've even had to go put on blast in the conservative black commentator movement or whatever. I rarely speak of other commentators, but I've had to speak out about stop elevating these Africans because they do not speak for black Americans. And a lot of these white conservatives would love to just have some African that they can push out and spout the talking points and doesn't have this lineage, doesn't have this connection to the culture. And I've had to call that out. Stop pushing this African into my algorithm talking about black in America. Go fix Angola. Go fix Nigeria. You leave the black talk to black Americans. And I've even had to fight that battle on the conservative side with some of the people that they're trying to push on.
When they doing these polls and like reparation polls, and they have a poll and say, well, 80-something% of black people say they're not for reparations. Yeah, those are the Caribbeans. The Caribbeans and the Africans, of course, they're not going to push for reparations because they understand they don't benefit from that. So, of course, they're going to say, nah, they don't deserve no reparations. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps. And then that whole pick yourself up by the bootstrap narrative gets pushed back. And then now you got people, the white or people in the power saying, oh, see, blacks don't want reparations. But they polling the wrong black people, like, you know?
And here's the thing. This is a black liberal. Like, everybody's always trying to get black conservatives to denounce Trump said this or Trump did that or somebody did something racist that I don't like, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be a black Democrat conversation that y'all have to push these black Democrats to start actually advocating for black Americans and stop wrapping up Africans and stop wrapping up illegals and stop wrapping up LGBT and stop wrapping up Muslims and stop wrapping up Asians and all these other people into our stuff. And it's one of the reasons that I think that, like, politics is not going to save black people. First of all, because if politics was going to save us, it would have saved us a long time ago.
Right.
So black people have to start thinking about different movements, and they have to start thinking about ways to advance themselves outside of the political system. And I always come back to money. Asians go after money. You don't see Asians running around trying to be politicians, really trying to be whatever. They go after money. I feel like the only empowerment is financial empowerment. All the other shit comes after.
I was speaking to Dave Anderson, and he was saying that we care too much about representation. You know what I mean? Like, instead of, like you said, Asians ain't really talking about, damn, ain't enough Asians in the White House.
Nobody cares.
But they mobilize with their finances. They back their politicians or whatever the case is. We don't. We just go off of emotions. And the last topic I want to get to before we get up out of here. What role will black Americans play in shaping the next era of this country?
I think, number one, our culture drives the globe. So we always drive culture. And that's never going to change. I wish that we would stop selling our culture to the highest bidder, but we always drive culture. Now, in this next era that we're moving into, and I had this conversation a lot with first generation black wealth, and particularly people that have come up in the political system and kind of like made their wealth that way or kind of like learned business through politics. Like, I shifted from being one of those black people that cared about like not reparations, representation. That's how I started. Like, there need to be more blacks in media spaces. We need to be in politics more. We need to be in content more. We need to be in music more. We need to be blah, blah, blah. Like, we're there, right? We're there. You can't make a representation argument for black people anymore because we are everywhere. And if you want to see things with only black people, it's about 3 streaming platforms that you can go to. My mother doesn't really like to watch things that don't have all black casts. So we will be watching Mubi, Tubi, BT Plus, all that, right? So the representation is there. And I think that black people need to start moving away from being focused on representation and start being more focused on building an entrepreneurship, because that's where we really, really lag. I would like to hope that blacks representing the next generation in this country, people our age, people that are younger than us, I would hope that they start thinking more towards business, entrepreneurship, and capitalism. Capitalism is not a bad word. All right. You know, the AOC, who has a $30 million net worth, she can tell you that capitalism is bad. All these paid black liberals on CNN that have multi-million-dollar contracts, the capitalism is not bad to these people.
Capitalism.
They're benefiting from capitalism, right?
For sure.
So I honestly would like to see us start building more in a business and entrepreneurship way. And I told myself this, and I made a pact with myself that I'm probably going to be semi-retired from political commentary after this next election, no matter which way it goes, because I want to start using my platform now to share what I've learned, not specifically to black people in general, but just in general about like what I've learned about business, what I've learned about capitalism, what I've learned about entrepreneurship. Why are there so few black people that have large platforms that are speaking about this? When we get platforms, all we want to talk about is race and white people, Democrats versus Republicans, all of that stuff. Like, that's great if it's our business as a content creator or whatever. But how is that really going to help people who are not trying to be in the content game, right? So how are we educating people in terms of how to build business, taxes, finances, entrepreneurship, capitalism, what to do with that first M? I blew through $1 million because I didn't know what I was doing.
Let me hold some.
But you blew through it. He's there, like, you know what I'm saying?
But it's like,
Man, he got another one.
I blew through my first $1 million because I didn't know how to deal with money. Right. And I had to learn things about money and about entrepreneurship. All right. And I had to basically start from the ground up again. And so what I would like to see from blacks in the next era is us talking more about finances, capitalism, money, entrepreneurship. That's where I hope we go.
Can I ask you one quick thing too?
Yeah.
I know we spoke earlier about how you said we should, be more open to, doing business with white people, right?
Yes.
And then I also feel like a weakness in black people is that we're too welcoming to all the
You're
black,
too welcoming to the wrong people.
Yes. So, because we had a guy named Frank Zandu on here where he said that we're not brothers. We shouldn't be looking out for each other. So what do you feel about, black people, even having this, pro-black business or black on black business, or I'm a black business owner or whatever the case.
But I love that. I've never, and I don't really argue with conservatives when they say things I don't like. I kind of just move on. But they're like, oh, well, it shouldn't be pro-black business. I'm like, try to support black business. I mean, I wish that I'd had better experiences when I've tried, but at a certain point, like that's a good thing. Like, it's not a bad thing at all. It's not a bad thing to be. Do you know how many times does, and I'm trying to get the statistic right, in the Jewish community, our Jewish friends and neighbors?
You talking about the dollar circulating?
Yes, that dollar circulates 9 times within that community before it exits the community.
Sheesh.
Our dollar goes out of the community immediately.
He said 3 hours before you
right.
get it.
Like immediately, right?
Spend it before I get it.
But then on the same point, if you want people to support black business, black people got to get your business right. You got to get your business right. I can't tell you how many times I have tried to hire black, and I have tried to support
You mean black, like black American, or do you mean black as in we talking about the Caribbeans?
No, when I say black, I mean black American.
Okay.
And we got to get our black American business together. And we got to start moving. We just have to start moving more strategically, and we just have to start moving more professionally. We have to.
Gotcha.
Listen, Rob, I appreciate you for being on the show.
Yeah.
I like these conversations because, again, me personally, I don't subscribe to any, left or right or whatever the case is.
They all a scam.
I listen. I like to hear from both sides. Just like religion, I don't subscribe to any one religion, but I love hearing from.
Rob
both,
knows it's a scam too. He knows it's a scam.
Look. I vote Republican because that is what's best for me.
It's beneficial.
That benefits me.
It doesn't
Everybody
benefit.
has to do the thing
blue
that's
collar.
best for them.
Don't get. It's no benefits for either party. People that work hard every day is no benefits for either.
I mean, we could argue that, but we wrapping up.
Shit.
Next time.
You counting M's? Let me borrow some, motherfucker.
Yo, but like I said, I do appreciate having these
that's
conversations. Even if we don't always agree on every topic, that's just human nature. Like,
Yeah.
nobody's going to agree.
Right.
But we do appreciate you for being on the platform. Again, let us
No,
know
I
where
appreciate
to
y'all
follow
having me.
you at, like.
Everybody can get out there, follow me at Rob Smith Online on all platforms. And, I'm out there engaged in the content, do the thing. I'm actually developing a couple of courses right now about some of the stuff that we talked about in terms of digital media, brand building, all that stuff. So just be on the lookout for me.
Yeah.
Listen, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let us know in the comments if, I know y'all going to fact check us in the comments. Like, fact check us in the comments. Listen, we here to learn, educate us. Again, join the Patreon, link in the description. If you're watching this on Patreon, we appreciate the support, man. You got this episode way earlier than the public. If you're watching this not on Patreon, link in the description, join the Patreon, man. You get this content early, more content like this early, we working on new content. Listen, we working on a lot of things. Join the Patreon to get early access. The live streams is coming. Listen, we working, man.
And make sure y'all tag Tariq. Tell him he got pulled back up, man. We need to, man. Tell
Pull
Tariq
back
to
up, man. Make sure y'all cop the merch. Oh, that's exclusive. Y'all ain't gonna get that one. But the merch right here, dailyrapupcrew.co. You know what I mean? Go pick up a merch, man. Appreciate y'all. See y'all on the next one.